So after a not so successful Vancouver Sevens, the Samoans, they will be looking for redemption, and maybe Hong Kong is where they do manage to find it. In this preview, we will be looking through at the Samoan Sevens squad, the key players for them when they are playing their matches, and tell you what, they've got some big ones coming at the start of this Hong Kong Sevens, and then also our prediction of how far the Samoans can get in the competition. But looking straight into it, the squad that Samoa have gone with, they've got a couple new names in there, but overall pretty similar to what they did have for Vancouver and LA. They've still gone with the two co-captains. That will be Va'apilo Maleko and also Valvasa Afasua. So straight away you will notice there is no Malani Matavao for the Samoans. A big hit, but I believe that might be due to injury again, unfortunately. He did have a few problems a few months ago that did keep him out for quite a majority of the Sevens year. The next player in their side, Steve Onisai, Paul Iti Slater, Nueli Letufia, Motu Opitai, Pelosi Taupo, here's a new name added in for the Samoans, Paul Scanlon, Malo Lutero, Taunuu Na Ulivaya, Fa'afoi Falaniko, Tuna Tuitama, one of my favourite young players on the Sevens circuit today, and BJ Lima, the last man for the Samoans. So they've got all the talent in the world in that lineup. They've got the youth, they've got the experience, speed, strength, everything you need to win a Sevens leg. The question is, can they do it when they have got such a tough pool, which we will go through right now. Pool A consists of Fiji, Argentina, and Canada. Unfortunately for Canada, they should be the easy beats of this group. But I don't know whether or not that will be the case. Maybe if they can cause an upset, that will definitely determine who goes through to the quarterfinals. But Samoa doesn't start off too easy for them. They have got their first game up against the Flying Fijians. That is on the 31st of March at 8:28 p.m. That's on the Friday night, all New Zealand times that I am talking here. Gonna be a great game. The Pacific Islands going head to head. I mentioned it on the Fijian preview. It's gonna be a final in a first match of a Sevens competition. You gotta love it, and you know it's gonna be a great game. So I cannot wait. See who takes out that one. Then for Samoa, you'll think, okay, you've had your big match first. Not exactly. You've still got another game up against Los Pumas. That will be Saturday, April 1st, 5:16 p.m. New Zealand time. And that is a side that have knocked Samoa out of the competition a few times in the past, and Samoa will remember that. And the question is, can they beat Los Pumas in the group stage to then force the pressure back on Argentina? Because we've seen Argentina, they keep on going from strength to strength. I believe they're currently sitting second in the World Sevens rankings, whereas Samoa, I believe they're drifting around that fourth. Whoever makes it further, though, should be above the other by the end of the comp. And then their last game will be up against the Canadians Saturday, the 1st of April, and that is 9:13 p.m, so a nice finish for them. And that game, it could come down to that points differential, depending on how the other games have gone throughout Pool A. But now, jumping back to the squad, we talked about how big these matches are. Now the question is, who are going to be the big match players to help Samoa get themselves some victories? First of all, I'm going to say it's got to be Tuna Tuitama. I mention him every time. He's still young, so he does make a few mistakes out on the field. We have seen that in the past few leagues, but when he gets it right, he's very good. And he can break the line, manages to find the offload, and this man, I think, is going to get himself at least 5 tries throughout this Hong Kong Sevens. Another player to watch out for, I would go with Va'apilo Maleko. I normally go with him, of course, but there is a reason behind that. He's one of the standouts for Samoa over the last year or so. He just needs some possession to be able to show off exactly what he can do. Now, he is also one of the only Samoan players I notice consistently getting in the breakdown and winning turnovers for Samoa. It would be nice to see a couple more jacklers in their side getting in there, getting the turnover, because that can change momentum. Brian Lima himself, the Samoan coach, he said that in that last game that they played up against Argentina, where they did not get possession, that was the difference maker. When Samoa had the ball, they were good, but it's just they only had the ball for about 10% of that match. So it's always going to be an upward battle if you cannot get your hands on the ball, and that is where Apelo Maleko, I believe, could be a big difference maker. And the third player for the Samoans, I am going to go with Steve Onisai. Whether he's in the starting lineup or off the bench, got plenty of pace when he makes his way out onto the park, and just seems to have a skill showing up in the right place at the right time, whether that's a support run being out wide on the wing, waiting for the chance to have a crack at the line. More likely than not, does get over that line. And I think him up against Canada is going to get himself a double. There we go. That's a very bold prediction. Could be very wrong. He might not even play in that game. But we will have to wait and see. But now the prediction of how far Samoa can go in this Hong Kong Sevens. Now, they're in a tough group, like I mentioned many times. You will hear me say that all throughout the weekend. They are in a tough group. But then from that tough group, they've got a tough quarterfinals. They will be playing up against either New Zealand, South Africa, Ireland, or Kenya. That is the other group that then interlock. It kind of reminds me of the 2023 Rugby World Cup, because we've got all of the top sides on the same side of the draw, and then they all have to play each other. So I believe if Samoa can get through this group stage with a victory over Argentina, and maybe a sneaky one over Fiji in that very first game, if the Fijians aren't quite up to the task, which I believe they will be. I think it's going to be a very tough game with a lot of big hits and a lot of skill being shown. If they can get themselves 2 out of 3 wins, then I believe they'll go through. Quarterfinals, it's always tricky. We've seen in the past Samoa normally get themselves knocked out in that quarter, but I believe they're going to go further in this one. So I'm going to say that Samoa finished 3rd in this Hong Kong Sevens. We'll go with that, see how close we are. But do let me know in the comments how far you think Samoa will go in this Sevens competition, and also who your favourite player is to watch out for this weekend in Hong Kong. But we will be doing the live commentary on the channel, so be sure to tune in for that. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.